I was at the U.S. Championships. One of my athletes, the sprinter, he's in 2 short distances, and he had, these sprinters, they put so much demand on their body, such a tremendous physical load as they explode out of those blocks and sprint down that track, faster than almost anyone has in the entire history of man on this planet. And occasionally, because of those tremendous loads, they break down with injuries. And when you're in a championship meet, you don't necessarily have the time to just sit back and rest and sit out. You've got to, it's a national title. You've got to take that opportunity when you're there and try to win another championship. So my guy came up to me, and he was going to have to run 6 races over 4 days. And he's like, Doc, I don't think that I'll even be able to run 2 races, let alone 6. I just see no way that I'm going to be able to get through this. I said, all right, well, just hang in there. We have this new tool. Let's treat you with this wand and see exactly what the 0-point energy resonance can do. So I treated him before his race and after his race, every race for 6 races, and he placed very highly in his first race, and he won his second distance and won another national title, and all that. He was almost completely pain-free, and this was from a guy that had limped up to me in the first place and didn't even think he could run. And then the last story that I will leave you with is a little later in the summer, I practiced in Cary, North Carolina, and there was a meet over at Duke University, and one of the coaches who's coached a few of his athletes to a total of 4 gold medals, he sprained his ankle. So he calls me up and was like, hey, Doc, I hurt my ankle. Can I come over? And I live fairly close to Duke, so he just came over to my house. He limps in, and I looked down at his leg, and he had a moderate ankle sprain. It looked pretty bad. Any motion was painful. He couldn't have complete weight bearing on it. I pull out the wand. I start a treatment, probably treated him for about 4 minutes. And at the end of that time, 2 things happened. One was he was completely pain-free, and the second was that his swelling of his ankle, when you sprain your ankle, it kind of puff up like a balloon. His swelling had decreased about 50%. And that's truly amazing to me, because it's one thing to decrease pain, because there's so many different factors, but when you are actually visibly decreasing swelling, beyond any shadow of a doubt that you're not just numbing pain nerves, you're actually contributing to cellular repair. And that's been my experience hundreds and hundreds of times over and over again since I've been introduced to the wand. And now I'd like to introduce another colleague of mine, a chiropractor that practices out in Las Vegas, who's been using the wand for a couple months. Dr. DiMartino, can you hear me?
Yeah, Dave, can you hear me?